So I've just joined Normec as an HR advisor working in the HR team. Bobby's not here today, so he's kind of asked me to do a quick intro. So Scott and Michelle have joined us from Canada Life, and they're going to go through some of the sort of support services that they're going to offer us going forward.
Excellent. Thanks, Pippa. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll get started. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us early on a Monday morning. My name's Scott. I work for Canada Life, as Pippa said. I work really closely with Bobby and the HR team and Michelle at Willis Towers Watson to embed some of the services we're going to talk about today. So we're talking about your group life assurance policy and the support services that are associated with that policy. So things like We Care, My Strength, Tooth Fairy, and I'll touch on the bereavement and the probate helplines I got access to also. Okay, so I thought I would start first of all with a little bit of background about Canada Life. So some of you may have heard of us as an organisation, some maybe not. We've been in the group insurance market, and when I say group insurance market, that's an insurer providing employee benefits, such as the one we're talking about today, to corporate organisations and the employees that are employed by those organisations. So we've been in there for 50 years, and in that time we've grown to be the largest group insurer in that marketplace. By the three measures on the screen, the most important one to me and to Canada Life as an organisation is how many people we offer these products and services to. So that's over 3.1 million employees we cover across the UK through the products that we hold. And that's over 26, so people like yourselves, and over 26,000 employers. So employers like Normec DETS who are offering these products and the associated services that are attached to them. So moving on to the first benefit, so the benefit that's available in terms of the insured product, so that's life assurance. So obviously pretty straightforward in terms of what it is. The question is often, do we have it at all? Do we have enough of it? So we're lucky in the jobs that we do that we've got access to these products, and not everybody does. As you can imagine, there's lots of employees out there who don't get this coverage through their employer, so it's great that Normec DETS offer it to you guys. In terms of some of the benefits to you for having this benefit through your employer rather than buying it as an individual policy, as well as giving you and your family financial security, which would come at a very difficult time. There's no medical underwriting in the vast majority of cases, whereas in an individual policy, you would find that would be quite a rigorous process. And as you'll discover shortly, there's a number of support services available to the life assurance policy, which I touched on earlier, which we'll now go into more detail. Where we're trying to just give you and your family some value to the policy throughout the policy life cycle, not just at point of claim. So in terms of the policy itself, I'm not going to labour this. It's a straightforward policy. It's a core benefit which is available to you as part of you being employed by Normec DETS, and it's a multiple of your salary, and that covers available to the age 75. So hopefully that will cover the vast majority of the demographic in your organisation. In terms of the support services, as I said a little bit earlier, we're trying to add a little bit of value to the policy, so not just at point of claim. The first of those is very appropriate to the policy itself, so it's a bereavement counselling service. So this gives you and members of your family 24/7 access to a bereavement counselling helpline. It's telephone based, and you would get up to 4 structured telephone counselling sessions, and that's from a qualified bereavement counsellor from an organisation called Teledoc, who also provide a couple more of the support services we'll touch on a little bit later. A lot of people forget this, but this is something that you can use yourself if you suffer a bereavement. So it's not just for your family to use should you pass away. So it's something that you can use if you are struggling with a bereavement in your life right now or in the future. As I said, you'll get access to a qualified and an experienced life event counsellor at Teledoc, and they'll give you practical advice on numerous areas, self-help, signpost relevant charities and other support groups that might be available to help you through what would be a difficult time. Just some parameters around that. Often people fall into the service quite soon after a bereavement, and generally through the assessments that they do for that triage assessment, it can be too soon to offer bereavement counselling, so you might be displaying more severe symptoms, and that's appropriate for the service. There is the National Bereavement Counselling Service would say usually it's up to 6 months after suffering a bereavement that bereavement counselling can actually help, because if you enter it too soon, it is actually too soon and you need to go through the grieving process. Just so there will be some parameters around that in terms of how soon you access the service and at what point in that bereavement cycle you're going through. In terms of accessing the service, it's really easy. It's just a telephone number. You would tell the individual on the other end of the telephone that you are a Normec DETS employee, and then you'll get access to the bereavement services. Now, the second support service, again, which is product appropriate, is a probate helpline. So it can be complicated when it comes to estate management matters on the death of a loved one or somebody being appointed to manage their estate. So things such as tax, IHT, wills, powers of attorney, etc. That can be a bit of a minefield. And this service will give you access to a qualified expert who'll support your family should you pass away, but also important to know that you can use this service personally, similar to the bereavement counselling, to help you manage these matters, so not just for your family to use should you pass. So yeah, please bear that in mind. So again, just a couple of products which are support services which are product appropriate. I'm trying to give you a little bit of value to the policy other than at the point of claim. Again, really easy to access, slightly more parameters around business times in terms of opening times, so Monday to Friday, 8 AM to 8 PM. But again, using the service is nice and easy. You just telephone in, tell them you work for Normec DETS, and you'll get access to the expertise you require. So moving on to probably the bulk of the support services we're going to talk about today. So this is something called We Care. You've got access to it as a Normec DETS employee, as do your family, your immediate family as well. So I'll just cover off how extensive this support service is for you and your family. So basically, it's a virtual support service. So it's via an app. It offers you and your family a number of virtual touch points from the comfort of your own home. So that ranges from 24/7 virtual GP to psychologist-led counselling, and then through to everyday basic things such as being able to speak to a qualified nutritionist to support healthy eating plans at work. You can also get bespoke fitness plans, so things for beginners up to people who are running triathlons, etc. And you can also get help quitting smoking, so you can speak to an expert on smoking cessation. And there's also a financial legal aspect to the service, so you'll get access to qualified solicitors and paralegals through the legal supply helpline, and there's also experts who can help you plan your finances more effectively. And as I said, it's all accessed via an app, so it's nice and easy, and sign up's nice and easy too. We split the service into 4 key areas for you and your family: clinical health, mental health, the well-being and healthy living aspect, as well as the financial legal well-being support we just touched on. So I'll just go through a little bit more detail so you can see how extensive the service is. So let's look at physical health first. You and your family will get 24/7 access to virtual GP. This is uncapped, so you don't have to make that. Some services are uncapped, virtual GP services, so you don't have to make that difficult decision of whether to use it on this occasion or not. There's no limit on the use, and the We Care virtual GP will support you and your family as many times as you need to. The second medical opinion service, which I think is a great standalone employee benefit in itself, and it's provided by a company called Best Doctors. We've been partnered with for many years through the Teledoc organisation, and this gives you and your family members access to over 50,000 of the world's leading specialists in any condition. That's any clinical condition, so not mental health. This gives you the access to that world if you've got friends who work in the NHS and they seem to know how to navigate that system and who best to go and see for certain conditions. And Best Doctors calls this doctor's choice of doctor, but that's not just UK based. You get access to these 50,000 individuals who are the doctor's choice of doctor from a global database. How they appear on that database, they're virtually peer nominated every 2 years, and the top 5% from that virtual peer nomination process appear on the database and you've got access to those individuals. So for example, if we were all cardiologists on this call, we'd be asked the question who would be happy to operate on me or a member of my family, and the top 5% of those responses would end up on the database. So as you can see, it really is the doctor's choice of doctor, and I think giving you and your family access to the consultant in any clinical condition across the world is a really supportive service. When you get through to the service, you'll speak to a GP, and they'll help you decide which service is required. The most important, popular one is something called the interconsultation. This is where Best Doctors will collect all your medical papers, so treatment plans, diagnosis, blood tests, scans, etc. and they'll have that reviewed by the leading specialist in that area of medicine, and they'll provide you with a full report. So in terms of diagnosis and any changes in treatment as well. Again, just for an example for how comprehensive that service is for a cancer second medical opinion, it isn't just one consultant asking a colleague in the same hospital about that diagnosis and treatment. Best doctors will actually take the original biopsy, and they'll have that couriered to Madrid where their headquarters is, and they'll actually put that biopsy back under the microscope and review the pathology. And then you'll get a report either confirming the diagnosis or maybe a slight tweak in that treatment plan. There's over, just for awareness, there's over 90 subcategories of cancer, and it'll be the leading oncologist in whichever one of those 90 subcategories of cancer you've been diagnosed with. So I would say it's a gold standard cancer second medical opinion. But please, we've jumped to a serious condition. It is there for everyday conditions as well. So a lot of people use it for asthma, eczema, migraines, and musculoskeletal conditions. And actually, over the years, we've been partnered with Best Doctors. Only 5% of our referrals are for cancer, but over 20% are for musculoskeletal conditions. So yeah, for musculoskeletal, before deciding whether to have that back operation or not, I would very much recommend using these guys to see if you need that level of intervention. So yeah, the very best cancer second medical opinion, but it's also there for everyday use too, which I think is really reassuring if you've got a family in particular. There's also a service called Find Best Doctor, and that'll help you and your family find the best doctor, as you'd expect, in your area for certain conditions. So again, very useful service if you're trying to navigate the best treatment plan for you and your family from the best individual in your area. So to access this service, you just need to download the app, navigate to the second medical opinion option, and then you'll be in touch with a GP who will then signpost you into the right service, be that the interconsultation or Best Doctor, etc. The last element of the health pillar is a smoking cessation service, and again, we get really good success rates, and this is because you actually get to speak to an expert, a specialist in this area, rather than just putting a patch on. Moving on to the second pillar, mental health. So again, this is all accessed via the app. It's psychologist-led, and it gives you and your family up to 10 sessions per issue per family member. So you'll go through an initial evaluation process to ascertain what level of support is needed. So they call that a core 10 assessment. There's a couple of other assessments depending on what you're calling about that you go through, and then you'll be triaged into the specialised support. So that can be psychologist-led counselling, a qualified counsellor, things like burnout prevention, lifetime events counselling, should you've suffered an event that may have caused you or your family member some trauma. What I would say is, given the expertise that's available through Teladoc, it's a specialised support, and it's not generic, which means we should very much be able to help. But again, just caveat, it's not a crisis support line. It's for supporting you and your mental health and your resilience. But there will be somebody 24/7 if you needed to talk to in the moment support. But in terms of longer term support, that triage process would signpost you into the right areas. On the wellbeing and healthy living, again, I think it's really important that to get the everyday basics right in terms of maintaining our own mental health and taking some responsibility for that. I think that comes natural to some people, but not so much to others. So this is where we think WeCare can really help. So we can make sure you've got a good diet, help you keep or get fit. You'll actually get access to a qualified counsellor and speak to that individual, and any bespoke dietary requirements you need, they can fit your lifestyle around that. You'll answer a few online questions, and then they'll support you with a custom Get Fit program as well. So that can be a 4-week plan or 8-week plan. As I said earlier, that can be for expert or beginner, and they'll supplement that with a structured, not just a structured exercise plan, but also a diet plan too. And just finally on this slide, you'll also get access to financial legal support. So again, financial support on those kind of everyday challenges. We know that if they're not dealt with, they can escalate into more serious issues. And can definitely challenge people's mental health. So that ranges some tips on how to budget and then how best to navigate and make the most of your workplace and state benefits as well. It comes from a qualified financial advisor, and they can really help you reduce your bills, etc., which is really useful at this time. You'll also get access to a qualified solicitor and a legal professional. This is a company called Truth Legal, but again, access via the app. They're on the other end of the phone, and they'll give you guidance and support on numerous different matters, so things like divorce, property law, consumer disputes, etc. So hopefully you can see it's a really comprehensive support service. And again, it's across the whole wellbeing spectrum, and it's really specialised. So there's hopefully something that we can help you or a member of your family with today. really easy to access. I'm just mindful we're going to be talking about a number of apps today. I'm going to be talking about 3 apps, but they've all got the same access code. It's on the screen. There should be things that HR could share with you as well. So we've got employee guides and employee flyers as well, which we can send on if you've not already got. And once you've downloaded the app, you'll get immediate access to all the support we've just talked about. What I would say is I would download and register now and don't wait until you need to use it. So when you need to use it, you really need to use the service, generally speaking, so you don't want to be trying to find access codes and downloading, etc. I would download it now in advance, so it's ready to go. Moving on to the next support service, this is something called My Strength. So this is it's a relatively new support service, and again, it's available to you and your immediate family. Again, it's the same company who provide WeCare and the bereavement services, Teledoc, same company who provide Best Doctors too. And really, it's a way in which enable you and your family to engage in mindfulness activities without necessarily having to ask for help and actually seek counselling. It's something, again, you can use irrespective of making a claim, and it comes at no cost. It's available via an app. You can also access it via a browser if you so wished. And I would compare it to, there's a lot of popular apps out there at the moment, so Headspace, Calm and Breathe, which obviously you can get free trials, but then you have to pay a prescription thereafter. This is reasonably similar to those apps too, but at no cost to you or your family members. So in terms of the content, it's personalised, which I think is the most important thing. So it's driven by the details that you give in. It's a very short registration process, a minute or so at most. And then on the back of doing that registration process, it gives you access to a huge array of resources. So things like videos, articles, video exercises, again, that are designed to support your own well-being. And it'll be importantly based on the areas of interest that you've actually fed into the app at the registration point. There's a really unique aspect to the service. You get assigned a guide at outset, so that's a real person. It's not AI or a bot. It's a qualified counsellor who actually works for Teledoc. And you can ask that individual a question at any time and you'll get a reply within 24 hours, usually sooner. And that's usually they'll signpost resources within the app and answer content-related questions, but they could also signpost things outside the app if that question comes through and that's an appropriate response. You can also set goals and track your progress against the goal setting. So there's a really simple when you enter the app in terms of mood tracking. And if you do that and you set your goals and you track your mood, it enables the app to make sure the content remains bespoke and it's relevant. I guess the most important thing, it's really easy to access. It's 24/7. You can use it when it fits into your day. So that could be 5 minutes pre or post school run or before a big presentation or something you might be anxious about, or last thing at night to help you unwind. Whatever suits you and your needs and your lifestyle, really. The most popular aspect of the service since we brought it in has been help with sleep. So that's the most access exercises and videos on the app so far, but there really is something that covers most things across mindfulness and well-being. Again, really easy to access. We've got guides that can help. There's QR codes on the screen now. I'll leave one up at the end and you can download it while it's on the screen if you so wish to. And the access code is the same as the WeCare one, so the G35857, and you'll be good to go and ready to use it. And the last support service is something a little bit different. It's something called Tooth Fairy.
I kind of missed that. Did anyone get it?
No.
Welcome.
I think we seem to have lost Scott. Scott, can you hear us? So is everyone else? Oh, here we go. Scott, are you there?
Are you back in, Michelle? There seems to have been a problem. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah, but the screen's gone off.
Yeah.
And we didn't hear the.
It still says, can you not see the screen?
Yeah, we can see it now. Yeah, now it's come back on.
Oh, it's back now. Okay, apologies. So we got as far as Tooth Fairy, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Excellent. Okay, apologies, everybody. We'll get going again. So Tooth Fairy.
Scott, I think you've gone again. Sorry, guys, about this. Let's just see if we can get Scott back. Scott, can you hear us at all? No, I don't know what's happened here. Can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
about this. I'm not quite sure what's happened, so apologies. Let's just give Scott a minute and we'll see if he can rejoin the call.
Okay.
No, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties. One second. Let me just see if I can give him a quick call. One sec. Hi everyone, I'm really sorry about that. Scott's had some internet issues, so he's going to log back in now. So he shouldn't be a minute or so. So my apologies for that. Hopefully the presentation will come back on the screen as well. So yeah, just sincere apologies for the technical issue there.
The joys of IT.
Hi everybody. I'm really sorry, guys. I
Oh,
come
here we
into the
go.
office when I've got present. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Scott. Hi, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. When I do presentations, I always come into the office because obviously you expect the internet to be far more reliable. But I've just been outside and it went down for the whole office floor for that moment, which is unfortunate. But it's up now. I've only got about 5 or 6 minutes left to do, so I'll try and get back into it and make sure I get it done before it goes down again. So I don't know what the recording is going to be like now, Pippa. It's going to be quite disjointed, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
Let me just share it again. See if we can get back to where we were. Okay. Right. Okay, guys. Hopefully we're back up and running. You see the slides?
Yeah, we can see it. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, Yeah, apologies. So just getting into the issues they're trying to address. As I just said, that in the UK, we know from experience, I know from experience living in Bristol, it can be a real challenge trying to access a dentist, even privately. Certainly via the NHS, it's impossible. So you can be waiting weeks for an appointment. You need to get time off work. You have to fit in around the dentist rather than the appointment fitting around your life. So Two Fairy dentists are available via the app, and that's within minutes. And there for advice. You can ask for advice. They're there for prescriptions, and also they can signpost whether you need treatment or not. Just a bit more background. The reason why there's such an issue in the UK, there's a 10-year low in the number of dentists available in the UK, and there's over 20% of people unable to see an NHS dentist now, and in some cities that is far higher. And in terms of some of the access challenges and the impact on the workplace, we've seen over 1.2 million days lost to dental problems every year in the workplace, so people not being able to get to see a dentist and address those issues. So Two Fairy can really help prevent the need to visit the dentist in person. And they're actually saying that 7 times out of 10, when you access the app, those queries can be resolved within the app as well. In terms of well-being, I think I suggested earlier, what is the link between oral health and clinical health? And having worked with the Two Fairy team, those mouth and body connections do actually exist. They're real and present. So, for example, individuals with gum disease have 2 times higher risk of developing coronary heart disease. There's a lot of undiagnosed diabetes out there, and 8% of those cases are detected by dentists. So gum disease increases that risk of diabetes significantly. There's also things like burning mouth syndrome and the discomfort from that from postmenopausal women, and that's something that often goes undiagnosed. Over 40% of postmenopausal women suffer from that, and Two Fairy can diagnose that and also prescribe the treatment to make sure not suffering from that discomfort. And clearly smokers and their chance of developing oral cancers, they're actually 10 times more likely to develop oral cancer. So really those connections, they're real and they're live risks, especially if they're unaddressed. And something that really people, I don't know if they think about this, but there's also not just accessing dentists, but also the fear of going to the dentist. Over 30% of people don't go to the dentist when they've got an issue because they're actually frightened of going. So I'm hoping that using the app really helps deal with that problem of a nervous patient. So it's a nice, easy first step to take, approaching a dentist, asking a few questions through the app, and you can do that from your own home. And also, if you've got fear of the dentist, or if you're worried about affording treatment as well, it's a really good step for you to have an understanding before you actually go to the dentist of what might be wrong and what those associated costs might be. It's a pretty unique situation if you've got a problem and you go and sit in the chair and the dentist tells you what's wrong, and you just accept that, and then you have to pay quite a lot of money on the way out. So we know dentistry is expensive, especially when you need it urgently. So Two Fairy gives you get a bit of a step ahead of that, so you understand what's actually going on. And you could be, if it's something minor that you just need a prescription for, it could prevent you having to actually need to go to the dentist in the first place. I'll touch on some of the services that are available on the next slide. So the bulk of the services on the left, which are the free services. So there's a dentist chat helpline. So again, it's free, it's unlimited. You can use it as many times as you want. You can ask a UK dentist anything. Just a point of note, all these dentists are trained in remote dentistry, so they can really help you when it comes to uploading the photos. They know what they're doing. So again, you don't need to call the receptionist, wait for callbacks, etc. And they can give you advice and guidance. They can prescribe prescriptions. So antibiotics if you've got an infection, painkillers if you've got things like an abscess or wisdom tooth pain, etc. And you'll get a response within 24 hours, usually much quicker on the chat. So if you've got a dental emergency, you've got pain around your wisdom tooth, your gums are bleeding, you're struggling to access a dentist and you need some painkillers or antibiotics, Two Fairies are there to help you manage that in that interim period. If you do need to see a dentist through the uploading of the photo, they've got this really cool system. It's an appointment finder. So what they do is it's unique. They pool all the live dentistry booking systems in one place in the UK, and it searches both private and NHS dentists in your area, depending on the parameters you set. And that includes cancellations. So that's private and NHS, and you don't have to be registered with the dentist you get sent to. So if you upload the photo and they can see you've got an issue where you need to see a dentist, but you can't find one, they'll help you find an appointment too. In terms of that signposting there, Their technology is great. I've had access to it and sight of it. So you take a photo of your phone. As I said, they're trained in remote dentistry, so they can help you focus on the area where you're having the issue, and the dentist can identify any issues you've got from that telephone upload. And as I said, if the dentist does identify you need some further help, they can signpost that with the appointment finder. So again, if you're unsure of your treatment options, you need a second opinion, you're anxious about going to the dentist, the Two Fairy app can really, really help in those situations too. There's loads of videos and resources you'd expect, educational material, videos and articles, and that's really to help you improve your oral health and help prevent any future issues arising. They always talk about this, trying to arrest this escalation of both physical pain and financial pain. So, if you can't get to see a dentist through access issues, or you fear of going to the dentist, Two Fairy is really trying to stop that toothache becoming a filling, that filling becoming a root canal, and that root canal ultimately becoming an extraction. And of course, the pain increases both clinically and financially through that evolution, that process. So hopefully Two Fairy can help with that. On the right-hand side, there are a couple of pay-for services that you can pay for as an employee through the app. So there's a video consultation service. So if you wanted to not have a dental chat, but actually a video call with a dentist, you can do that. So that's £29 for a video consultation appointment. And as I said, you just pay through the app to do that. What Two Fairy did say is if it became apparent through the chat service that this was an individual who really needed to have a video consultation, they would just set that up anyway. But you might have some individuals who would prefer to have a video consultation than a chat anyway. So that offers there, and in terms of cost, that's probably significantly cheaper than going just for an emergency appointment at the dentist initially. As I said earlier, there are prescriptions, so you can get antibiotics, you can get painkillers, etc. So there's an admin fee of £20, and you need to cover the cost of prescription. Thereafter, they'll send you a QR code, and you can pick it up from a local dispensary or pharmacy. And they've got things called treatment kits, which are essentially a teeth straightening and teeth whitening service. So they do their own version of Invisalign. It's a significant reduction anyway, but there's a further 10% off the cost of that. I understand some of those treatments can be quite significant in their costs, so some decent savings there as well. And again, you can arrange that yourself through the app. Just like the other support services, really easy to access. QR codes on the screen. If you are searching in the App Store, Google Play, it's the third or fourth Two Fairy down. There's different iterations in terms of spelling, etc. You just need to download it, create your own profile. You need to input your access code, which again is the same as WeCare and MyStrength. And some of the tiles won't open up until you've done that, and some of the tiles won't open up until you've actually spoken to a dentist. So, for example, you can't just use the app to find an appointment. You have to speak to a dentist, and the dentist identified you need to see a dentist thereafter. Then they can open up the booking system. Just a point of note: everything we've talked about today, so the bereavement, the probate, WeCare, and MyStrength, has been available to you as a Normec employee and your members of your family. But Two Fairy at this time is just for you as an employee. It's not open to family members currently. If that changes, we will let you know. So just last slide, just you've got everything on one screen with the QR codes there as well. You can see each service we spoke about, MyStrength, WeCare, and Two Fairy, with the same access code. So just mindful there are free apps you'd have to download, but hopefully the fact that you're using the same access code for each one makes it nice and easy for you to remember. Okay, so apologies, obviously it's a bit disjointed with the internet issues we've had, but I'm hoping that's been a useful short summary of the product that's available, but also I guess the bulk of the presentation being around the support services that are there for you and members of your family. So hopefully been helpful. I would please encourage you to download the apps and have them ready to use should you need to use them. But yeah, if anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to try and field those now. Okay, if anybody thinks of any, Pippa, I guess you could collect them and send them through to Michelle and I, and we could pick up thereafter.
Yeah, no problem. I will also circulate all this information as well to make sure that everybody's got access to it as well. So thank you very much for your time today. And yeah, any questions, we'll forward them on.
No worries. Thanks, Pippa.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for sparing
That's
the
great.
time.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott.
Scott.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good day.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye.